for you. So I hope that your day is going well. And I'm so sorry not to be with you, but I'm really delighted that we can connect this way via the magic of technology. I'm just thrilled for each of you to have reached this milestone in terms of your work on your own individual development, but also all the hard work you've been doing together as a team. And I'm excited to see what you're going to be sharing in the action plan report out. So thanks for letting me join you via technology today.
All right, big wave to her. Nice, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Christine, and great to see Catherine as well. I hope your closing sessions with your coaches went well, for those who had a closing session. Msichana and Rally Uganda, I think you're doing yours later, so looking forward to those. Hope they were meaningful for you and you closed off in the way that you would like to with your coach. We're now moving into your way forward, your next steps, so that we don't experience the backsliding or the, oh, thank goodness Coach Sarah's not on my case anymore. Let me just forget all those things. Yeah, so how are you going to keep it going, and how are you going to spread what you've learned here beyond what's happening in this room and further into your teams, your organizations, your communities, your networks? So it's going to be really exciting to hear what ideas you have for your transformational action plans. So this is how we think it's going to work. We're going to have 3 organizations this afternoon. We're a bit late, so they will all get 15 minutes each to present. And to each of the 3 presenters, if you can take less time, well and good. We'll very much appreciate that. And then for the rest of us, let's really work our listening muscles. Yeah, we're here to support the other groups and what they're sharing. So we need to listen to what they're saying. And then we're also going to be stretching our giving constructive feedback muscles, so you can show us what you've been learning with your coaches. So we're really looking for you to give feedback. Don't be shy to give feedback that might be difficult. But equally, let's be supportive towards the people who are sharing. And if you are going to give constructive feedback or critical feedback, please also try and add a, have you considered this? Or what about trying that? So that it's not just a punch in the face. Okay? I don't know, let's just try, see how it goes. So, yeah, that's what we want you to do. They'll be presenting, and then we'll have 15 minutes after that for you to share your feedback, and really to help them improve the plan that they have, the transformational action plan. Plus, they might also give you ideas of what you might want to put in your transformational action plan as well. So please feel free to learn from each other. I'm sure you're very willing to help each other. So do we have any questions before we get started on this process? We'll be about an hour and a half. And then that'll be day 1. I don't see any questions. Does everyone have enough coffee and tea? I know the break was a bit short. I hope that you have. If you haven't, please just move out very quietly if you need something, and then pop back in. But yeah, let's be open and ready to listen to what's being shared. So who was going to start? Grace, I think, from the, is that? Who was starting? The Action Found. Oh. Basic Needs, Basic Rights? Oh, sorry. Basic Needs Kenya, and that's Ndocha.
Yeah. Yes.
So please come and share. I will warn you that Melissa has a timer, and we can be strict. We will be strict. So you have 15 minutes, and we'll find a way of letting you know when your 15 minutes is up if you haven't finished. Is that okay, Ndocha?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, great.
That's okay. I'm going to share the transformation action plan for basic needs. I hope the team at the back is getting me clear. Wave if you're getting me clear. Thank you so much. So this is the action plan from Basic Needs, Basic Rights Kenya. But first I have to give appreciation to the team, to the 4 of my colleagues, starting with Rosemary, please wave. Rosemary is our director. Jefferson. Jefferson leads our monitoring and evaluation work. Where is Geoffrey? Geoffrey has stepped out. He's our programs manager. We have Rebecca, who approves our travel benefits. Thank you so much. Please project. As they project, I think I'll get thank you so much. Let's go to the next page. Is it okay? Thank you so much. So from Basic Needs, Basic Rights, our objective for our action plan is to strengthen cohesion and enhance engagement among staff, foster a culture of growth and appreciation through structured activities to promote communication, leadership, teamwork, and alignment with core values across the organization. It's a broad objective, and our target is to do this by the end of 2025. So we start now, but by December 2025, we hope to have achieved this. Next. So for us to achieve that broad objective, we have come up with 10 activities that we want to do as an organization. And number 1 is the quarterly in-person staff meetings. We have done this, but not most of the time. So what we want to do now is we want to bring all the staff members to a central location where we, over this period that we are doing our transformation action plan and our coaching, we have had a chance to bring our staff to common places like Karura Forest, where we just go without phones, without laptops, without documents. We just go the way we are. We sit down, we discuss, we share ideas. So we want to do more of this, and this includes wellness activities and agenda contributions by staff. This is to promote collaboration among the staff. So what we usually do is we send a link. They feel what we want us to discuss. Then we meet and discuss. We don't want to refer to any paperwork. The second activity is organizing a joint management and board workshop. So we want to bring together our management, the team of 5, and all the board members, where we are going to have a workshop to discuss. We discuss with the board. They get to come up with a future plan of where they want the organization to be, what they want us to do, and it will be a consultative one between management and the board. The output we intend to get from this is to sketch an organization vision for the future, and then we want to come up with something that we can display in our offices. That is the goal, and we work towards it. The third one is working on our organizational identity and branding. And on this one, we want to come up with a wall, a talking wall or a sketch or a art, where we are going to design something that we are going to have on our, in every other office. We have 3 offices right now, so we are going to have this, something that will be visually appealing to us as staff and to our guests. And to represent our core values as an organization and reinforce alignment and commitment to our vision and mission as BNBR. The fourth one, we appreciate that we did the Inagram assessments as management, the 5 of us. So we look forward to take this down to all our staff members, to have the rest of the staff members do this. And we have a coaching session for them as well, so that we can get to understand each one of us. Right now, I understand why Rosemary does the things she does, how she reacts to things, because I already know her type. I know why my friend here, Ponde, doesn't like to talk much. He's at type 9. But now we want to have all our staff to do this so that we can improve as an organization. And then after that, we will organize individual and group discussions for all the staff members. Number 5, we plan to have a team coaching session and keynote address, where we are going to have all the staff to engage a coach, the same way we have been doing it here, someone to come talk to us, and then also to bring professionals from outside to talk to our staff about leadership, transformation, and teamwork. The output we want to get from this is, first we want to have the sessions, the coaching sessions be biannual, and then we are going to target leaders, thought leaders from the society. We are going to invite Joyce, we are going to invite Christine, and all of us, I believe we are thought leaders, to come and talk to the rest of our staff. Number 6 is implementation of work collaboration tools. We do this, but now we want to improve and do something where we will all be on the same page with all staff. So we want to explore other more work collaboration teams and softwares and platforms. And also the other reason why we want to do this is, as an organization, we are working on something. We want to go remote fully. So we want a platform where we will be working, and we will engage all our teams from the offices in this platform. So we have already worked on a policy on remote or hybrid working. So, and we are looking forward to implement it from the 1st of January. So as we do that, that is what we want to do. Number 7, we want to come up with a service awards program where we will recognize our team members, achievements and contributions to boost their morale and organizational loyalty. And so on this one, we'll be coming up with an annual report and events on the same, where we will appreciate the best performing staff and staff who have worked as a team over the years, who have collaborated well. Number 8, we have staff semi-annual satisfaction survey, where we want to do a survey both internally and externally. Internally, we want to have a satisfaction survey for all our staff to gauge how satisfied are they as staff. You know, sometimes we may be pushing them so much as management. Kumbe, we are pushing them to the corner and they are not delivering or they are stressed. So we want to have this as a regular activity where we can be doing this survey to gauge whether they are satisfied with the way we do things, with the way management works, the board. Yes, and come up with ways to improve on this. Pondo, is that the last one? Okay, let's proceed. We have number 9, policy review and dissemination workshop. We do revise our policies every 2 years. And we are in the process of finalizing the revision of our policies. The last time we did that was 2022. So we hope by the first week of December to finalize this. And as we do this, we want to, initially what we have done, we have had meetings, but this time we want to have those serious meetings where we thank you so much, Melissa. So where we want to simplify the policies that we have developed as an organization. We do dissemination, sensitization for the staff. And this time we want to do it outside the office in a cool setup where staff can concentrate. The last one, I think it's over. Yeah, so that is over. That is our presentation. And those are the things that we want to do for the next 1 year. My colleague, Jefferson, will be taking the feedback. He's our monitoring and evaluation officer, so he's very good at noting and feedback. Thank you so much, Jefferson.
Okay, thank you very much, Ndocha. Very clear presentation. Really appreciate that. And yeah, Jefferson, I think you can take the questions, but also hopefully any other member of the team can also chip in if necessary. So I hope you were listening well and you were analyzing their proposed plan. Please share questions or suggestions or critiques. What was coming up for you? What do you want to say to them? Just put your hand up and the microphone will come round to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing the presentation. My question, forgive me for using an M&E lens, but my question is, how will you measure change? How will you know that you have been successful? Like when you conduct the management, board sessions, team coaching, what outcome are you like moving towards? I think it would be nice to like have that additional layer of change to understand we're doing, these are the 3 changes we're working towards, and this will be the signs of change. I think that would be very useful at the end of the period to know that you've made progress in those areas. Thank you.
Jefferson, do you want to take that question? Okay, let's wait for a few more. Maybe let's have 3 and then Jefferson can respond.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I think it was very clear. I have one area I just want to make a comment on, specifically on the activities around service award program. I believe that as we work together as a team, as staff, all of us are contributing. I'm wondering what are the criteria you will be using to identify the best staff, the performing staff for the year? Because looking at the social ventures, how do you measure or understand the contribution for the others to recognize the best staff. Thank you.
Yeah, Michael, let's hear from you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. When you started, you talked of 10 action points, and it looked so ambitious. I was just wondering how on earth is that possible? But when you went through them, they were all relevant, and most of them were interlinked to the extent that you can even actually aim at two birds with one stone. My question is in the point where you said you want to harmonize your board and the management team, and you talked of a 3-day getaway somewhere. I don't know how diverse your board is. I don't know how many there are, but to get the board with the team on a 3-day out, I'm just wondering, and how often would you want to do this? Because if you do it once in a year, is that adequate? Thank you.
Okay, let's go with those first three. And also, can we try and be giving feedback rather than asking questions? Okay, so give feedback. That can be a critique, or it can be, I think that's a brilliant idea. I really like point 3, or whatever it is. So it's feedback to them on what they've presented, and then potential suggestions for how they might be able to improve what is in their transformational action plan. So rather than asking them questions, let's give them feedback and suggestions. Okay, is that clear? We'll come to you, but Jefferson, so if you can answer those quite briefly, and then there's plenty of other people who want to give you some ideas, so let's hear from them.
So thank you so much, and thank you so much for the question, and also for listening. So I'll take the first question, then I'll distribute, because my role was to note them down, so I'll distribute the second one to Ndocha will support in giving an answer, and the third, Rosemary, will support in giving an answer. So in terms of the first question was on outcomes that are measurable. Of course, we had come up with a few, like 4, but we did not have them as a part of the presentation for 2 reasons. One, we were still also getting to have them refined, but we have targets for each of these activities of what we intend to achieve with them. But if we looked at the objective that, again, was still a very long phrase, it has some of what we intend to achieve. So that is what we'll use to be able to come up with the metrics of measure. But each of those activities have at least a gauge of what we are measuring, what we are scoring at current level, and what we intend to achieve with them. And also, as mentioned, some of them are tied together, so there will not be a target for each and every one of them independently. So on the service awards, Ndocha will give a response. On the one for the board, Rosemary will give a response.
Let me comment on the question about the board. Yes, it's a challenge, what Joyce also referred to. Sometimes the board set a strategy and then they move away, and then we figure out how to make that strategy come alive for the staff, and what does it really look like success. So yes, one meeting will be enough, because all we want is clarity. We are at the start of our 2024 to 2028 strategy. We don't want at the end of the plan, when we are giving ourselves a thumbs down, we are giving ourselves a thumbs up and their thumbs down. We want to be aligned. Is our picture of success the same as what they have? And then we can translate the same to the team. On service awards, you asked also how diverse is our board. We have a very diverse board. We have lawyers, we have psychiatrists, we have HR practitioners, we have finance people. And yes, we agree, it's a board of 10.
and one meeting is enough. So for service awards,
So someone asked if is once per year adequate. Was it Michael? Michael, yes. We have quarterly board meetings, but this one is bringing together the board and the staff, just on that board and management team. So on the service award program, what criteria we will use to decide on the staff to recognize, we are going to come up with specific things we look at. An example, if we are looking at team collaboration, we said we will be working towards automating those work collaboration platforms and tools. Then we will know which staff collaborated well when it comes to team collaboration. If it's teamwork, we are also going to do the same, but we are going to have a very consultative process where we engage all the staff members. Management is not going to sit down and decide it's Jefferson who was the best. So we are going to sensitize the team members on the importance of this, and then once we decide to award on something, we have a consultative process to do that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from Furahini and then Grace.
Thank you. Congratulations to the team for a well-detailed plan. Mine is more of a comment. I saw you wrote something like you're going to have a policy, and I wonder what policy that is. I'm just suggesting, what I'm saying is what you're looking forward to is having more collaborative team at the end. And if that is, it is important to consider having a motivational plan, a motivational policy, which you might need to consider everyone's needs, you have just shared, because what is motivation to me might not necessarily be the same motivation to my colleague. So you might need to do, I could call it a rough survey to see what does motivation look like to every team member, and come up with the motivational policy which might suffice all. And of course, the motivation policy, when it comes to implementation, you might not implement it all at once. You might come up with, like right now we can do this, next we can do this, and later we can do this. Because when you say we only want to recognize a best performing team member, when it is not being done nicely, it might be discouraging to some of team players who has been bringing a lot of efforts to make things happen. Yeah, so mine is more of a comment. Thank you.
Do you want to respond? Do you want to say anything, Rosemary? Oh, you've only got... Okay, so yeah, better to get their ideas. Yeah, let's hear from Grace. And then there was somebody at the back who also wanted to...
Yeah, mine is more like a comment. Have you considered breaking down this objective into about 2 or 3? Because it seems like a very detailed, and it's like block items. So breaking them down into manageable proportions to make it easy for the team to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Did you want to say something at the back? Yeah.
Thank you very much for that, team. Mine is on the Service Awards program. When I heard that, I was very excited. And I was thinking, oh, they're going to appreciate everyone's contribution into this. So it doesn't necessarily have to be who did the best, but it's about what did I bring to the table, and I'm recognized for that. And I was thinking they even have an annual report just talking about the staff and what everybody has done. That's amazing. So I thought you're going at it like that.
Nice idea. Let's hear from Francis.
Yeah, I wanted to just add on the point. What's my name again?
Grace.
Grace, that has insisted. Like, I've seen the point number 1, point number 4, and point number 5. This can also be merged into one activity, I think, to give different result in the end. So having this a lot of ambitious objective might not be realistic in the end if you don't merge them into one or a few things that you can manage. And knowing that resources are not always available and some other things may be the stumbling blocks for you to implement the action plan. But in the end, we don't want to see you also failing. Yeah.
Thank you, Francis. I think, yes. Sorry, please share your name.
Dennis.
Oh, Dennis, yeah, thank you.
I had two. Grace has already addressed number two. My number one is on service awards. That has touched us. I think my HR should be also listening to that. But I was thinking, as you come up with that matrix, to identify who to award, one of them should be, the one maybe proposal will be ask the team to vote for who was the most collaborative. They know.
Great, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, Jane.
Thank you very much. I think in line with the previous speaker, have you considered, I love the fact that you're talking about building strength and cohesion, engagement, and fostering a culture of growth and appreciation. Have you considered about creating a values, culture and values framework? How would this support your sustainability plan? You might find that if you're doing rewards and recognition, probably thinking about the behavior change and values and the culture that you set in the organization might help in building sustainable behavior. Thank you.
Okay. I think we have 1 minute left, but I'd like to just give basic needs just half a minute. Rosemary, I'm giving it to you to just respond or appreciate the amazing feedback. Well, I think it's amazing that you've just received from this room of, what a resource you have.
Thank you. And it's nice to know we won't walk alone when we are talking to Nyakundi, to Dennis, and he tells us how does this look like when we are doing those awards or when we speak to you about the values and culture and values framework. So we don't plan to walk it alone. We appreciate the inputs that you have given. We've taken note of them. Again, I'll say, Joyce, point noted, it's not about just recognizing the best. It's about recognizing that we all bring in different components, so to make it as inclusive as possible. But yeah, and of course to manage our expectations. We know we won't do it all in a day. We want to be ambitious, but yeah, we'll also be realistic, what's achievable in the short haul. So thank you very much for your inputs.
Great, thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Thanks to Basic Needs for sharing, going the first one to do this, and what a great presentation it was. And thank you for all your feedback, incredibly encouraging and loads of great ideas. Those service awards will have everyone talking later as well. I can see that conversation continuing. So let's move on to PAL Network. Christine, I think you're coming up. Yeah, and you're ready to go, I imagine. Great. Do you need this microphone or you're okay with that one?
It's okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Is this better? Yeah, thanks Basic Needs for going fast. It makes me feel better. So, what were PAL Network's thoughts on the way forward? We have two overall objectives. Maybe we could go to the next slide. And I'd like to walk you through what we thought. These are our initial thoughts, and we'll be very glad to hear your feedback. And the first objective was to develop and implement structures, including planning, measurement, and efficient processes for pragmatic and efficient leadership. So our discussions over the last 6 months have been, how can we be more effective by being more pragmatic, more realistic about our resources, more realistic about how to rein in our team and make sure that we are not going into burnout. What are some of these things that are around pragmatic practices that can help us to be more efficient with the resources that we have? So this is why the first objective is around developing and implementing structures that include planning, measurement, and efficient processes for pragmatic and efficient leadership. The first result area was that the Secretariat at PAL Network, the management team situated at the Secretariat, has increased capacity in pragmatic planning and management, ensuring that our efforts and resources are strategically directed towards events that will most effectively advance us towards our strategic goals and mission. And to do this, we thought a couple of actions. First is maybe to complete a strategic planning or management workshop for all the Secretariat leadership team members by the end of April 2025. So that's the end of, the beginning of second quarter there. So some of the things that we were thinking about is, how do we look, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. How can we benchmark with other organizations? Are there already some frameworks or some tools, something that we can already adapt and make our own? So this would be a little bit the overall perspective around this workshop. And then also now leading up to what we should get out of this practice is, how can we then now take this knowledge and develop structures for effective strategic planning and help lead the team in these structures. Also, we had identified 2 issues, that's time management and prioritization, and we thought it would be important to get some skills building sessions in as well on these particular 2 issues. So that's the first result area. The second result area under this objective is increased awareness of PAL Network management team of their management styles, practices, and behaviors, enabling pragmatic decision making. So how do we continue this journey of self-awareness as a team? How can we keep it going? And the first action we thought was to hold quarterly reflection sessions for the Secretariat management team. At least 2 should be face-to-face. Not our whole management team does not sit here in Nairobi. And then the second action point was to create and operationalize a matrix to reflect about the doability of proposed actions. So incorporating the questions, what do I feel versus what do I see? This was a really big part of our coaching session to help us to balance, to have a balance between what is motivating us and how can we pragmatically move to achieve this. So those were the 2 actions that we thought can be under this. And then moving to the second objective. The second objective was to develop and implement structures to strengthen internal communications within PAL Network Secretariat team. And the first result area under this objective was that the PAL Network Secretariat team improves internal communications, leading to a more inclusive and collaborative work environment. Which actions shall we take? The first is to carry out 2 interactive Enneagram team workshop sessions to enhance self-awareness, understanding of different personality types, and improve the team dynamics. So this is for our whole team, not just the leadership team. And we thought this would be very helpful for us to do. And then from there, have a media building exercise, team building exercise, to strengthen team cohesion, enhance communication, and boost morale. And we thought also it would be good to see what, after mapping these personality types, after learning this information about quadrants, after giving this information to the team, within this team building, can we be able to reflect on the, the outcomes of this information, of course, and as well as other team building exercises, with the assumption that the better that the team understands itself in terms of personalities and ways of working, it should be able to improve our ways of working. So this would be part of some of the discussions that we were thinking to have within this team building exercise. And that's the end of our presentation. Comments and questions, please.
Remember, not so many of the questions. Sorry, Christine. More of the feedback and suggestions. Yeah?
For me, I've seen the objective are there on their plan, but again, they have key result area. I wanted to ask if something you can do on the actions where you have just incorporated the indicator for measurement, if you are making the changes that you are proposing, you could just, that is my suggestion anyway, you could just put action in the other part. You could just say, these are the indication that we are making that result, or we are reaching to that outcome that we intended. That was my suggestion, if at all it will be good on your side. But I've seen it has been incorporated on the action. If you are reading well your actions, they are also incorporating the indications of how that result will be achievable. So maybe if you can separate them, that is my comment.
Thank you.
Mine is more positive. I really like that it's very simple and achievable. I also really like that there is continuity for how you want to grow as a leadership team. It emerges very clearly, and also how you want that to trickle down to the rest of the team. So I think that stood out for me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pearl Network. The simplicity is quite very interesting. I agree with him on, I could see kind of like the outcomes included in the actions, and I think maybe separating would help. And then about the 2 Enneagram workshops, I'm wondering whether that will be ample, or there's another way we can think about it. I'm even trying to understand 2 Enneagram workshops. What will this kind of look like? So there's something there that maybe you may think of checking or outlining, unpacking, so that you can see the picture a bit more clearly.
Yeah, and just to build on what Fatuma says, I don't know, Joyce, if you have thoughts on Enneagram what nexts? Because I'm sure there are other groups who might be considering that. You might not have the answers, but maybe some thoughts.
Yeah, the answers are not there. But 5 out of 7 of the programs that I saw had this Enneagram thing. Now I think now it is 6 out of the 7. I think there's one I haven't had what they need. Cohort 1 asked for this as well, some people, and we are just trying to figure out how to do this, because the group that asked for cohort 1, they want to do it with 40 members of staff. And they have done a lot of stuff around values with those staff. They are completely debriefed with the staff on where they want to go together and this kind of a thing. And that is when the staff said, we also want Enneagram. I wanted to say that myself, when I did the first Enneagram, it was much cheaper, but it gave me exactly the result I got when I did the IEQ9. What was not there was the detail. The thing was five pages, and all the ICC people, that is the one they do. But the anagram one, I did the professional one. It is 42 pages, and you just want to run out of time. And the question we are asking, do we need the detail, the much detail that you got as leaders in this thing? So I have actually an anagram that I've been discussing with Jason, and what we want to do, and the decision will be made after we hear from all of you. What we want to do is do it ourselves, like there are two of them, but they take a very short time. And because the issue that people just want to know what is their anagram, they don't want to study it the way you studied it. We want to have several workshops. One of them will go through all the 9 types. Then people can hear. What is challenging there is if the program they did not give them the right type. And that is a technical issue for whoever is trained to do this. So we are going to figure out a way. We want people to understand that you are not your anagram, but anagram defines your orientation. And so there may be a few quick misses here and there. So we are trying to find a way. It is challenging because it is $60 per head. And if you are 40, that is like serious money, for the small, especially for the smaller organizations. So we are going to do something. I want to see what you come out with today. And then we are going to sit down with Jason and figure out what we do with this thing. So I don't have an answer, but it is priority number 1 because of the way it has been so transformative. Also, there is the NGO level here. We are doing CBO's level, this leadership program. It will be completely different except in some parts of this, because it will have a heavier component of whatever. And we want to see whether we can use this. We need something simpler. And we just want people to know what they are. There is tons of materials on anagram online, but I don't want to send you there, because if you are not a professional, it can completely send you into a place you want to go. So give us time. It is on our top priority radar. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Joyce. Do we have any more suggestions and feedback for PAL Network? I think also to remember that your work is global. Is that right? Yeah, so they're quite different you're quite different in your focus. It's huge, and I loved the simplicity of what you put together, considering everything you have to think about when you're trying to build your team. Very impressive.
May I say something?
Of course.
If you have the money, because some of you do, just let me know. I will get this going immediately. And I am allowed a discount because I'm qualified to do this. And then when you are making your institutional transformation or your institutional development program, figure out how you are going to, for the long term, strengthen your organization. And this is doable, and no donor will say no to this kind of a thing. But because you don't prioritize, they don't. And those with the kidney, I'm giving you a tip. I'm quiet now.
You got the message. Okay, thanks so much for sharing, Christine. And thank you to your team as well for putting it all together. And thanks too for you for giving your feedback. I think, I've got a feeling we've got one more group. I think we need a bit of movement, don't we? Before we do that last group. This is an ad hoc energizer. So I'm not allocating it to any organization. I'm allocating it to the person who wants to volunteer right now to lead us through a very energetic energizer. Please, Frahini. Do you need the microphone or you can shout?
Thank you. Can we all stand up? Okay, so at Msichana, we play a lot with girls and children. So I'm going to bring you down there. So I'm going to sing a song. It's called Amadash Amadash. Who knows it? Amadash Amadash. So I'll be saying Amadash Amadash, and that's how you respond, Amadash Amadash, while clapping and dancing, okay? So I'll mention a word, and you tell me the spellings. Team Msichana, I know you're here, so you can help me with this. So I say Amadash Amadash, you go Amadash Amadash. Amadash Amadash, you go Amadash Amadash. If I say I'm a girl, so you tell me the spellings of the word girl. So I'm a G, I'm I, I'm a R, I'm L, Amadash Amadash. Are we okay? Let's practice. Okay, Amadash Amadash. Amadash Amadash. Amadash Amadash. I'm a boy, I'm a B, I'm a O, I'm Y, I'm a dash, I'm a dash. Yeah, we got it. Okay. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a K. I'm a G. I'm a I. I'm a R. I'm a L. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm Kenya. No, I'm going to do it quickly, yeah? We got the game. Okay, I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm collective. I had O. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm a dash, I'm a dash. I'm vulnerability. Yeah, I love that. Great. Stretch yourself a little bit. Little bit. Yeah, that would to exercise our mind a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Furahini. Asante sana. Amadash, Amadash. Okay. We have Grace from the Action Foundation. Welcome, Grace. Let's just get your presentation up. And you can share your plan.
I use this. It's the beauty of being tall. Good evening. Yeah, I'm here on behalf of the Action Foundation. Two of my colleagues are not around today, but Michael is available today. And it's a great honor to be actually the last one and after an icebreaker. Next slide. So for us to come up with this action plan, we had to draw back and think of what's our mission as the Action Foundation. So I just wanted to take you through, see, like, our mission is actually to improve the quality of life of children, women, and girls with disabilities through programs covering the entire life cycle, from the early years, adolescence, and childhood. So we are focusing on enhancing access to health, education, social protection, and community care. We are doing this through direct service provision, systems strengthening, and capacity building. If you have time, you can come and visit us. You'll see most of this. So, and also we have to also look at the vision. So what do we want to see? We want to see a fully inclusive Africa where children and women and girls with disabilities actually realize their maximum potential. Have a look at some of the beautiful things we do on the slides. The next slide. So also we had to sit down and think. We've been here for the last 6 months, I think 9 months. So what have we achieved that we're really looking forward to when we're getting into action plan? So we've achieved a lot. We just had to pick 3. So we've enhanced our individual and collective self-care. We've been able to create an environment that supports individual and collective learning. We've built systems. We've actually hired 3 staff members who joined the team and are actually mentoring others into the organization just to help us meet our capacity. So we get into our action plan for 2025. Yeah. So we have 2 main objectives. So our the first objective is to prioritize individual and collective well-being of all employees. We've been here, the 4 of us, but we are 42. So how do we ensure that everyone actually benefits from this? So our key result is to achieve 95% increase in employee participation and consistent utilization of mental health and well-being programs by the end of the year. And we're actually going to measure this through program attendance and feedback surveys. So what are the activities we're going to do? We'll be conducting a mental health support sessions through trainings on mental health and offer counseling services. We actually be doing that. By the 6th month at least we'll have done a couple. We've tried to put in some budget, so don't worry about the budgets. The second activity will be promoting health by seeking behaviors and emotional well-being practices. Our another activity on that key result will train on mindfulness and time management to help the team members cope with workplace stress. That one we're actually looking into bringing in a consultant who can actually help us with that. We plan to have at least a retreat by the end of the year and a fun day. At least one really fun day where we can even allow our staff to come in with their kids, with their spouses, just to have fun. The second key result on that is to increase employee engagement in physical fitness programs. Zumba, we have Zumba in our organization, we do Zumba, but we want to increase it at least by 50%. It's by 50%, and 80% of staff participating in improved physical well-being. Actually we'll be measuring this through post-program surveys. So the activities we'll do there is, we already have a Zumba instructor who is on board, so we are going to ensure that at least we ensure that these sessions are very consistent. And then we are going to organize team building activities every quarter, just to help the team unwind, get out of the office, because the Zumbas are done from the office. So how do we now get out of the workplace where there are no laptops, there are nothing, people can just have fun. Next slide. The second objective is to promote leadership skills through coaching and mentoring. Remember, we are looking at a wholesome, so we want to coach also the staff, the team members who are left in the office. So the key result there, we have two key results. So we're going to implement a coaching and mentorship program by Q2 of 2025, where we actually intend to achieve at least 80% participation among the new and existing employees and 90% positive feedback on enhanced learning and growth in quarterly surveys. So we'll be measuring this through quarterly surveys. So one of the activities we'll do there is to conduct a 2-day self-awareness training and personality test. It's appearing again. So we might have to actually also consult, have a consultant, whoever, we'll just figure out how we are going to do that. And then we are having a mentoring, is this thing on? Okay. So we'll be doing mentoring for both individual and group sessions with employees. We've already started. We've actually, through this 6 months, we've actually come up with a mentoring and coaching program. So we really want to enhance that. And I've just broken it down into the timelines. There's 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and the entire year. And then we are planning to conduct a 3-day leadership training for the mid-level management team. And that should be done in the 6th month, by mid-next year. The last key result under promoting leadership skills will run quarterly awards with 100% leadership participation, quarterly power talks with 75% attendance, and monthly book club sessions, where we actually intend to have at least 80% participation and positive feedback. So we are going to do this through employee recognition awards. We're already doing this. So what we do is we do, as Dennis mentioned, we have employee value awards nominations after every 1 month. So you have a Google form, you let employees actually just nominate someone who's actually exemplified a certain value, and then we get out somewhere, go through the results, the responses, and award. So we are still going to do through that. We'll be having quarterly leadership sessions. So here we're also looking into inviting in key speakers, people on different, actually have different expertise, to come and talk to our teams, have power talks, so that so to have a baseline, we'll do a needs assessment just to find out what would be the most ideal topics that people want to get someone talk to them about. And then finally there we are having a book club. So we're going to have a book club. So we are going to buy a book, 2 books per year for the office. And then everyone reads the book. We'll have, there'll be two types of books. Everyone has a chance to go through the book. We sit down and analyze and get feedback on learnings from the books. Don't worry about the budget. Next slide. So the transformation, we just thought it's good for us to share because it's been quite exciting. When we came in here in May, we are the emergency room doctors running up and down because we do a lot. And now our vision is actually just to be a winning football team. We are there. Not at where we want to be, but at least we are there. Thank you. Feedback. Not questions.
She's ready for your feedback. Feedback and suggestions.
I love the presentation. It's so good. And I love the way how you begin your presentation by explaining the mission of the organization. Also, I love the visibility of the pictures of your activity, because I'm the head of communication. I love picture so much. So when you explain by showing the activity of the picture for your organization, it's making people to understand what you do. And the last, I love the way you put the budget of every activity which we are going to implement. Thank you.
So for me, I am also impressed with the plan in terms of how smart it is. The outputs, the expectations are measurable, and it shows really where you want to be in the next few or in a certain time frame. Sarah said she loves how you kept the other things. For me, that is also a congratulation. It's like you have done some things outside the box, which is also very good to also think about what extra you can add. And also that's an embracing of the feminist way of doing things, because you can be as much as, like, you can just be the way you just want to be, but not necessarily like what the boxes and the matrix want you to be. So I think it's a nice presentation for me, and kudos.
Thank you very much for sharing. Mine is around what I think I'm calling the reading club, right? Mm-hmm. There's something about the books. Yes. And I was like, yeah, lovely. Because many times we mess up simply because we don't have information about what's going on elsewhere. So I loved that you're building that within your journey, And it's also because I've been someone who has benefited from that a bit as we went on this journey. So I feel that's a great thing to continue with.
Yeah, I love the deliberate effort to wellness. Oh my God, I felt like I should just go and tell my boss I'm leaving and I'm going. Anyway, my point was around the objectives. I felt like there was no time bound. I saw like you didn't highlight how long are you working, like in terms of time. Is it like a 1 year? Is it like a continuous effort? But otherwise, it's a good endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I got excited with the first activity, that is mental health awareness and counseling services for staff. This is one area that we as basic needs, we pay keen interest and keen attention to. And as our resident psychologist here can bear me witness, if you invest in this, in staff wellness and awareness on mental health services, then productivity improves. So I'm looking forward to engaging with you guys next time and getting to learn more on how the process has been. The other thing is the Zumba instructor coming on board. You already said you have. I don't know, Geoffrey, whether that's something we can borrow for basic needs, but I look forward to having this in basic needs. The other thing, just a general comment, is you mentioned most of the items you mentioned that already. You have started working on them. It will be good if you have a baseline. This is where we are. And then this is where we intend to be in the next 1 year. Yes.
Okay, do we have more feedbacks? I'm sure there are. What can you squeeze out of your busy minds just before we close? What else can you share to help Grace and the team at the Action Foundation? Yeah, Peter.
Thank you very much for sharing a very detailed action plan. You have numbers on on some kind of targets and changes. But I'm just wondering whether there could be just one or two actions or two results that connect back to how this program improves the work delivery channels. It's just a reflection I had in my mind, you know. Like, yes, we're doing all this, the staff wellness, we're doing the mental health awareness, but at what point do some of these interventions contribute to the delivery channels of your work? Maybe just one objective in that direction, so that, yes, there's wellness, but also balance to the delivery system that you engage with. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I think also to build on this is what came up for me, the idea of the Zumba, which I know you're already doing. Just thinking around issues of inclusivity. If you have, did you say you have about 40 staff? Yeah. So it might be that Zumba might not be appropriate for all of them, or they might just not be interested, or they might not be able to get involved in Zumba. So what other activities might you make available that can help them? I think someone mentioned about somatic intelligence this morning. So what else might be available for them to build their somatic intelligence that isn't a workout kind of thing? So just always considering the inclusivity element of everyone on your team. Any others? Yeah, Fatuma.
The other bits have been mentioned by colleagues. The other bit that I liked, that I felt was powerful, was the family fun days. It is something that we talked about, but seeing that another person is thinking about it, it's quite confirming that, yeah, it can actually work. How do we kind of try to connect with ourselves beyond just the individuals who we are at work, but also check in with the rest of our family members?
Does any group here have experience of family fun days? Organizing family fun days? And if they do, would they like to share any ideas or tips? Yeah?
Well, not at PAL Network. Amanda is looking at me and wondering, when did we do this? But yes, while at Twaweza we had, we actually called it a Bring Your Child to Work Day, and it was including children and also some people brought siblings, others their spouses. And the first bit was you had to do some work. So they see you in your work environment. Of course it is, oh, sorry. It will be different from a normal working day. You have children running around, others want to pick the office phone, others want to jump on their parents. But you know, the first bit of just trying to do something so they see you at work. But then also now we had some collective activity where we had paint work. So for small children and the older ones, and finally, the paintings were on the walls of the organization. So they also formed part of what was displayed for those that managed to complete their paintings. So of course there were artists and others were not. And for the little children, having more fun activities for them, like having a bouncing castle and whatnot. Then there's now finally closing the day with some collective work. So starting from an easy work day, moving on to some collective food, definitely has to be there. When I saw there was a zero budget, I was like, it won't work because people will have to eat, or you know, somehow you have people staying together for some time. There will be some small cost implication. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Winnie.
Thank you so much, Winnie. The reason why it has a zero budget is because we are not figured out. So at least, thank you so much for the suggestions. It's a thought, so we'll have to consider most of this. And thank you, everyone. We've noted the feedback on timelines for the objectives and an inclusion of another objective on the output around work deliverables. So we really appreciate.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for sharing. The Action Foundation, PAL Network, and Basic Needs. You were the ones who went first today. Now some of your work is done. So well done for sharing. And thanks to the rest of you for being so engaged and for being so generous in your feedback and your ideas for how they can strengthen their action plans. I have just been informed that it would be very good if your action plan, transformative action plans with budgets, be submitted before you leave Nairobi. We want to work you hard while you're here, enjoying yourselves. So yeah, please try and get something to Joyce, to Melissa, before you get on your bus or your piki or your aeroplane away from here. So thank you very much for sharing. We're coming to the end of day one. Of course you can. Before what? Yeah. Yeah, so that's that session over and done with. And with that, I will hand over to Christine. And
so I have the honor and privilege of not coaching any organization this year. So I have the outsider's view of it. So people may cringe. I want to suggest less is more. So you remember your coaches gave you one practice each time for each activity? They didn't give you 6 practices. Do you remember? So as you engage in your action plans, remember less is more. You're already very busy individuals. I know you. For real, I know you. So when you add another set of 10, 9, 8 other additional activities, you're adding to your basket, which will sound and will feel burdensome rather than wellness. Does that make sense? So as you go and implement, it's good to test. It's good to test and see which one works for us, which one can we engage with. But always remember, less is more. You need to find the practice and the activities that will give you like double value. Those are too many things, too many. They'll just overwhelm your staff, they'll overwhelm you, and you'll forget about them after some time when there's a donor report to be written, or when there's, does that make sense? So it's important to just think that it doesn't have to be everything,